Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the hit HBO series, The Wire.
I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the Force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today we are covering Season 3, Episode 10, Reformation. And as always, we begin by popping a recap. Brother Mouzone returns to Baltimore on a mission of revenge and casts a wide net in his search for Omar, who has his own plan for vengeance. Colvin manages, for now, to put off a Sun reporter inquiring about Amsterdam, while Burrell delivers news to City Hall, and the reaction is surprisingly mixed. Carver learns how much he doesn't know about good policing, while Perlman and Daniels plead their case for a new kind of wiretap to Judge Daniel Phelan. Carcetti is about to launch his campaign, but struggles with its effect on his friendship with council colleague Tony Gray. Stringer falls out of the loop with Avon and is given an ultimatum by Prop Joe and New Day co-op crews. Cuddy's initial approach to teaching boxing ends up alienating the corner boys, while Marlowe raises the stakes against the Barksdale gang. Bubbles provides Freeman with entree into an undercover cell phone hustle. The episode was written by Ed Burns, and it was directed by Christine Moore. Christine Moore has quite a lot of TV credits to her name, including Treme and CSI. So there you go. And premiered on November 28th, 2004. All right, Ellie, please bust out that epigraph for us.
Call it a crisis of leadership, said by Prop Joe.
We have a crisis of leadership about this podcast every week.
If only they knew what was going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, you thought it was all, fun and games and we were having a good time, but not really. It's arguing constantly.
It's a crisis.
Yeah. Okay, well, before we begin the recap, we have to cover your predictions. Now, before we get into some of those, we're not going to go directly from episode 9 because I had to give you extra credit for something you foresaw from episode 7. You mentioned how they were going to pre-tap the phones.
Oh, yes.
So there you go.
Yes,
so
I did. I was not sure how. I didn't think it was going to be this way, but I did say pre-tap.
You definitely did.
Yes,
so good job there.
Thank you.
You also said, episode 7, Carver gets involved with Cuddy and the kids.
Oh my God, did I say that?
Yes, you did. So there you go.
You're right,
so
I did say
extra credit.
Oh
good
my
job.
God.
I mean, and that was a...
That is, yes.
I mean, you saw the breadcrumbs.
He was just buying the basketball hoop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and so, of course, it all plays out today.
Yes.
So, yep. All right, and then, so then you also said in last episode, now we're just going back to the most recent, Dante will do something stupid later. Boom. Got that?
Yep.
So good job there. D'Agostino is going to dump McNulty, which we didn't see explicitly, but
we hear that happens.
Mm-hmm, yep. Will we see Prez again? No Prez in this episode. So that was just a question. It wasn't, I guess, not a prediction.
It's not a prediction.
But still, you were asking the question. Something will come up with the DNRs. Now, I'm trying to. I think that's kind of what we're talking about here. So, yep. So you were basically just repeating your prediction.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of the same thing.
Dennis. Oh, by the way, I have to stop typing Cuddy in my notes.
I have to stop doing that. I actually did like a find and replace for Cuddy and turn them all into Dennis because I keep using both.
Yep. So anyway, so Dennis is going to keep making progress on the boxing gym. So did that. Good. Amsterdam will be in peril. Got that.
Yes.
Carcetti will not declare yet, which is still true. He's now planning. Omar will still be planning. Also, that true. Did you we saw that today. And Avon will try a different tactic to try to get to Marlowe. So
probably not so much that one.
Not a different tactic, but certainly he is more successful in making some inroads. So okay, not a ton of background here. There is one great part from All the Pieces Matter that I will cover, but otherwise not a ton of reference here for us. So we can just get started.
Okay. All right, well, I have, let me see here, 6 storylines to follow. I've got what I call a crisis of leadership. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be looking at both the Barksdale and what happens with Stanfield organizations. I've got Colvin comes clean with our look at the Western District. I've got with friends like Carcetti, who needs enemies.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Calvin's new con. I love Calvin. Mouzone-ing In On Omar. Yeah, you like what I did there.
Okay.
And Coach Dennis is where we're ending today. Okay, so let's talk about this crisis of leadership. So we start out with Vernon Holly taking notes at a crime scene in the Western District. It's another drug murder. He says that this is Barksdale coming back on his boy Marlowe. And we may remember from a previous episode that Holly told Kima, I think he said something like Marlowe's the spawn of the devil. Yeah. Fruit is nearby and recognizes this body as someone he works with. And passing by are Mouzone and Lamar. And we'll talk about more with them later. So let's set Mouzone and Lamar aside for now. Back at the safe house, Slim Charles reports to Avon. He does like this kind of hand signal to show them that the murder was successful. Avon is happy. And then we see them just like taking out of bags all the guns that they brought with them. The murder causes the police to start arresting dealers who are a part of the co-op. And we see Fat Face Rick and Prop Joe, and they are not too happy about how this war between Marlowe and Avon is affecting their business. And one of the things Prop Joe says stirred up a hornet's nest. So they're not happy.
Nope.
No. I don't know if you want to say anything about all of that.
Not yet.
Okay, let's keep on going then. We've got Justin and Jamal leaving a convenience store. Remember that Justin and Jamal work for Stanfield. And they hear some pops of gunfire nearby. And they look like they're running away from the store. You would think that they're running away from the gunfire. But instead they come across the body of LaTroy, another one of Marlowe's guys. And then Snoop pulls up in a truck. She tells him to get in for their own safety. And Marlowe is safe as well. He's got numerous bodyguards around him. So now we've got two of Marlowe's people that have been killed. All right, Stringer meets with Shamrock at the funeral home, and there is some new muscle there, replaced by Slim Charles. Stringer asks Shamrock about the drug business and learns that they are running out of product. And we find out too that the new muscle are actually bodyguards for Stringer, which he is very annoyed about. He does not like that at all. Stringer drives to a meetup in the back room of a pawn shop. His bodyguard wants to come with, and Stringer tells him that he better not. So he doesn't. He just stands outside. And inside, Prop Joe, Fat Face Rick, and I think it's Phil Boy are waiting. Prop Joe reports that Marlowe will sit down and talk if he gets to keep his corners, which I don't feel like that's what we heard from Vincent. Is that what we heard from Vincent?
What do you remember?
Where did Prop Joe get that report that Marlowe was sent out to talk if he gets to keep his corners?
Well, I think that Vincent said the boy got ideas.
Okay.
And I just assume that he doesn't want to compromise.
Okay. Yeah,
so,
that's kind of what I thought.
I just we didn't hear that explicitly. But
I just didn't feel something that sounded to me like a parlay, but maybe I just didn't take it that way, and it really was a willingness to parlay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like they left that open last time, and then you just fill in the blank.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Prop Joe also says that if the war continues, then the Barksdales are going to be shut out of the co-op, which is, of course, we know not good because they are running out of their product. Prop Joe tells Stringer he can't be at the head of the table if he can't call off his dog, which is just, that is something. I mean, it's supposed to be Avon in charge, but here's Stringer, and Avon is, like an attack dog. Or a guard dog for the property. And this is where Prop Joe tells him that he is faced with a crisis of leadership.
Yo, stay in the car, man.
Tom, man, said to stick to you.
Like, Tom ain't gonna be there when I stomp on your fucking head. Stay in the car. Yo, make it short, man. I got a meat to make.
Oh, fuck the meat. You harder to get at than my fat wife's cunt, nigga.
Yeah, you how mighty Barksdale's gonna afford to sit back and play low key. But some of us gotta work for a goddamn living.
What, you think this mess ain't fucking up our business?
That means Avon's willing to sit down and talk with Marlowe, work this shit out? Well, if that don't happen, String, I got you some bad news. Me and the boys had us a sit-down, got a quorum, and took a vote that says, if y'all don't quit this war, we have a mind to shut you out. And when I say outstring, I mean out the package. The boys don't want to extend the good shit if it's gonna keep you and your peoples out on them corners banging.
What about the boy? What the fuck he say?
Vincent say Marlo willing to talk, if he can keep his corners.
Now hear me on this string, we ain't no ingrates. We all recognize your contribute to the co-op. But the feeling is this. It ain't right for you to be at the head of our table when you can't call off your dog. Call it a crisis of leadership.
Yep. Okay, well you covered a lot of ground.
Yes.
I mean the opening montage, I guess if you want to call it that, that all was very straightforward, right? I mean, it's the fact that they left all of the actual violence behind, kind of to unseen, I thought was kind of an interesting choice. But again, the Wire's basically like, well, why do we need to show this? Every other TV show shows this kind of crap.
That's true.
We don't need to show it, so that's kind of interesting. I thought your point about Justin and Jamal running, like, instead of running into the store where they presumably
that's
would
what I
be
thought
safe,
they would have done.
They just ran, towards the. But I don't know. Maybe that's the code, is to go and like run and try to get with the other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, and then the one thing that kind of the nitpick that nags at me is, okay, so this drug war is going on, and that leads the police to raid all these houses. Like, why?
Right.
Like, how did they not do this before? But on the other hand, maybe it was just I don't know. I mean, and I think. And Prop Joe and I think Philboy are both East Side, if I think.
Yeah, exactly. So why is it
I'm not
affecting
quite sure.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little loosey-goosey there.
But nevertheless, I mean, it's all just, kind of, it almost like it doesn't really matter, because if this drug war is going on, it brings heat on everybody.
Right.
And they all know that. So anyway, but that's kind of beside, not really a big point. It's just one of those things that I was like, I wonder how that happens. But in any case, all right. So then, just moving ahead. Yeah. So Stringer, the conversation with Stringer, as you said, it happens so fast that you might not be picking up on it. But, Shamrock's saying that we're down, our numbers are down.
Yeah.
And of course, for Stringer, he's just outlaid $250,000 in cash. So he's hoping, I think, to make that back, quickly. And of course, like now he's, now, it's not coming in from his main salary or money making operation. So that's a separate problem. So, but it just happens so fast, all the stuff that happens. And then of course, also unseen or unsaid is the new muscle, right? Like Avon and Stringer are not talking to each other now at all, right? Like Stringer's just like, he's hiring people to guard me, which you'd think he'd be grateful for, but he just, it's just more hassle for him.
Right.
Or whatever, so.
Well, he doesn't want anybody to go in while he's talking to Prop Joe and hear that and report that back to anybody else either. So
that's
stay
probably
outside,
true, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't want you to hear what we talk about.
Yeah, I never thought about that, actually. Yeah. So then just the meet with Prop Joe and Fat Face Rick and Philboy as well. So the first thing that I caught this time, didn't really pay attention. I don't know why. I just didn't really pay attention before. Is so he walks into this mini mart or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And
it's like a pawn shop, I think.
Oh, is it a pawn shop?
I don't know.
I thought it was like maybe it is, but. And there's like a, kind of an elderly white woman behind the counter, which
exactly.
I just that to me is just hilarious.
I know.
Like you have these drug kingpins in the back, and there's this elderly white woman. Yeah, you can use my store, no problem. So she lets her, and he just gives her the nod, and they walk in. And then Fat Face Rick delivers one of the best lines of the entire series. I mean, it can't. The number
about how
of,
hard he is to get a hold of.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So, I mean I was like, what do I was like, is this the greatest line in the entire series? And I'm like, well, there are some other contenders, but it's the fact that he uses like 3 levels of offensive language in 6 words.
Yeah, it's
like,
creative
holy
too.
crap. So just, exactly.
Oh yeah.
You want to describe?
I know.
I'm sorry. I'll just.
No, it was a lot.
Such a good line.
It was a lot.
And then just the last bit of it is, Prop Joe saying your contribute, again, it's just one of those little little lines that just, when I see things these days, and like you see something written as a question, but it's not a question, or there's no punctuation, that always makes me laugh.
Right.
Like it's just like or if it doesn't have any capitalization or whatever, you're like, it seems like. I don't know what it is. And the same thing here. It's like you have these words where you're like, he could have said contribution,
Yeah.
but instead it's your contribute.
No, it's
and
excellent.
And it's just like, so anyway.
It's just so much, that I can't remember what the name of that actor
yeah,
is.
Robert Chu.
Yeah, he just brings so much.
Oh yeah,
to Prop
absolutely.
Joe. It's he must do all of this forethought about what he was going to say and how he was going to deliver it. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and I think that's roughly it. But the last little bit, and I'll credit Al Sepinwall here, is that as we go through the crisis of leadership, understand where Stringer is coming from. So first, it's not he's being protected by Avon in a way, right? He's getting more bodyguards, but they're not on the same side, right? And we'll actually go into that a little bit more later. Now the co-op where he built this, essentially this very successful organization. Now they're opposed to him, and so we'll talk about the other areas, but like you can see a man kind of as Avon called him 2 episodes ago, a man without a country. So he is really getting isolated now. So it's very interesting.
Okay, well, let's continue here. Oh, this part was terrible. Devon comes out of her very cute house, and then around the banister, there's Marlo. He calls her name, she turns, and he shoots her once through each breast, and she falls to the ground, and then he comes over and fires a third bullet into her open mouth. You hear people screaming in the background, somebody got shot, and I think it's Marlo who says it needed doing. Or is it Partlow that says that? Okay, Partlow says that. Yeah. Just disgusting.
Yep.
Really terrible. So then Avon continues to plan his warfare with Slim Charles. Avon shows him a grenade. He's like, oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Some guy brought this back from some war.
Yeah.
And Stringer comes in. He says, I talked to Prop Joe, and we maybe have a potential truce. Avon, of course, doesn't want to. And then Stringer breaks the news that the co-op plans to shut them out, which means no product to sell anymore. And Stringer tells him he's been getting high on the power of being a war general, basically, right? I mean, that grenade really drives it home. And Stringer asks him to consider if they are in the game for their reputation or for the power that they are getting from their position in the game. And tells them, there's bigger games than this. They've got the world at their feet, right? This is what Stringer's been working for so long. And then during this, we see Slim Charles come up and whisper something in Avon's ear. Avon later tells Stringer, he acknowledges it. He kind of smiles in a, I don't know, like, no, he came back at me sort of way. And he then breaks it to Stringer. He says that Marlo murdered Devon and how he murdered her. And that's it. There will be no truce.
Right.
No truce. So.
What you want, I should get a snitch to clue us to the Denali. We didn't get Marlo, but still.
Nah, he kept his hand up. Go it all.
Hey, look. I need a word, man.
Get them niggas out of here, man. Check it out, String. Oh, this shit got the kill range of like 50 meters. This nigga got this from some soldier coming back from wherever.
Yo, I spoke to Prop Joe's people. They think we can work this out.
Sit down.
It's the perfect time for it, man. You done represented yourself, man. Your name ringing out now that you done taken Marlo down a notch or two, man. So why not quit while we's ahead?
Just let me get this thing right, man. Then, we get back to business as usual.
They're gonna cut us out, Avon. Prop Joe and them niggas, man, they took a vote. They're gonna cut us out. We ain't gonna have that dope. So even if we win, we lose, because we ain't gonna have no product to put in them fucking corners, B. Avon, look at you. Fucking shooting dope without a fucking needle right now, man. Getting high on a power trip, playing fucking soldier. Yo, you gotta sit back, man, and think about our business. What the fuck you want?
That motherfucker. He good.
What happened? Avon, you gotta think about what we got in this game for, man. Huh? Was it the rep? Was it so our names can ring out on some fucking ghetto street corners, man? Nah, man, there's games beyond the fucking game. Avon, look, you and me, we brothers, B. We didn't think we'll make it this fucking far, but fuck if we ain't standing here right now with the whole world at our feet. The whole world, man, not these fucking corners. The whole world, B.
You know what Slim just told me? Devon come up dead. She was shot one in the mouth, one in each tip. You still want to talk truth, String?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Stringer's like process through this whole that whole sequence. Yeah. I mean, in Idris Elba's delivery, like it's just.
Oh, you almost think he's turned Avon too until that moment that Slim Charles comes in. It really looks like Avon is considering it. Mm-hmm. You know that Stringer's convinced him, like, come on, what have we been working for? We got everything at our feet right now, and you want to ruin it for what? And then, God, that delivery of the news by Slim Charles. Oh, God, that was a moment.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think it kind of reminds me back of when he got shot about how he's like, I'm finna get it back to old times. And then that's when he feels like most alive. Right. And then he's thinking about, okay, well, maybe it is time to back away and, start living a life outside of the game, and then as you said, then he smiles and now he's like, okay, I got a new challenge, or I'm this guy, I've got to come out, figure out a way to get after Marlo again. So, I was just reminded of your comment from, I think it was from last season, the episode with Avon and D'Angelo, where Avon puts his hand on D'Angelo's head, and you're like, Wood Harris has gigantic hands. Yes. And in this episode, same thing. He's like putting his hand over his face, and it's like it's like a glove over his face. It's just hilarious. So I was like trying to pay attention to what's going on in the scene. But
he could have been a quarterback.
But yeah, so. It's kind of interesting too. Just the last little bit is that so Stringer's like, what happened after Slim Charles comes in and talks to Avon, and Avon tries to brush it off, but when Stringer continues on about trying to convince him, Avon then brings up what happened, because he's now essentially saying like, all your words don't make any difference because it's about beating the other guy.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with how much money you can make. Right. So, and so now we know for sure that Stringer and Avon are just not, they're not allies anymore.
Yeah.
So it's pretty, it's a rough scene for Stringer, and it's fascinating when you have that setup to see the rest of his, the rest of his journey on this particular episode. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. You think if Marlo had killed anybody else, just one shot,
yeah, exactly.
Do you think that would have it would have had the same result, or it's really just the way that they did Devon that made him be like, oh, touche, now I do have to come back?
That's a good question. I wonder. I don't. It's a good question. I mean, see, now you got me thinking about. One thing I forgot. I wanted to make sure we didn't leave it is that. If you go back to the episode when Kima first learns about Marlo and she's talking to Holly, and they had that witness that was killed, and Holly says he got shot twice in the chest and one of his mouth, and that's a signature, I guess, is Marlo's. And I shouldn't be laughing, but the scene of her getting shot is, it's kind of one of the more grotesque.
Yeah.
Because the way the what do they call the squibs? Like,
yes, exactly. I know.
Like, oh my God.
I know. I agreed. I thought that same thing. I was kind of like, made me wonder, like, how did they pack them in there?
Yeah, exactly.
How many times did they have to practice it?
Yeah. And then actually, I thought it was a little gratuitous. Not that he shot her in the mouth, but like the camera shot of her.
Yeah,
like
the
that
angle.
felt a little
Yes,
silly.
I agree.
Yeah, well, whatever. In any case, but then just one other comment about that. I'm like, so Avon got shot at that meetup with that was supposed to be Devon and Marlo. Like, don't you tell her, like, get the hell out of town? Like, he knows that you're in on it.
I know. I guess
so,
not.
I don't know, but whatever. So how could you possibly be surprised about that? But or maybe he just didn't think that Marlo would know where Devon lived. So
possibly.
Anyway, okay. But otherwise, I think that covers everything. So
okay. Well, Stringer goes to the copy shop, and we know from the surveillance camera that he is dealing with a difficult decision. And we'll talk more about that when we get to major crimes. But eventually he goes back in and he phones the Baltimore Western District Police. Again, more on that soon. I think, you know, There's not a lot revealed in this episode about what he says. Later, he finds that property development grants have been awarded in the news. They're the empowerment grants, but his company is not one of them, I'm guessing. So curious, given how he seemed to have been set up by Senator Clay Davis. He gives Shamrock some documents to take to Levy, right, to get his take on it. I'm going to just say right here, I love the way that Idris Elba takes off a pair of glasses.
Oh, interesting.
It's just sexy the way he does it.
Okay.
All right, I'm just putting that out there.
That's going to be on our Blue Sky or Instagram.
Can you find that image for me, please?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, and then he leaves the funeral home, and who is watching? It is Omar. So more about that as well later. All right, so that's it for Barksdale versus Stanfield, the crisis of leadership in this case.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to mention that, it caught me this time, and I actually don't have an answer, is he picks up the office phone.
Yeah.
And he wants to call somebody.
Yeah.
And then he puts it down, and then he uses his phone to call the Western.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't know, like, was he gonna call the Western from the copy shop
I guess
phone?
so.
And then he uses his cell phone. Like, why?
No,
Why did he do that?
or maybe he was, I was thinking about that too. Or maybe it was a different call that he was going to make on his copy shop phone, and then finally was like, no, I got to make this other one. But you're right. It doesn't seem like you would make that call at all traceable to you. You don't want it to be on the copy phone.
Oh,
so why would he
okay.
even try?
Right.
Right. So maybe there was some other thing that he was going to do.
Oh, that's okay.
A different phone call.
Yes. Okay. Yep,
he decides, I'm not going to go that route. I'm going
Yeah.
to pick up the burner and.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a burner though. It's his.
Oh, it
cell
is.
phone, so, which is how the major crimes unit detail
right.
actually sees it, because
Yes.
they know that
Yes.
phone exists and he's got that number, but it's the one that he was using is listed. So it's curious. I don't know who he. It still kind of doesn't. I don't quite know.
Okay.
What the plan was there, but anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. Well, if anybody else has some theories on that, please let us know.
Yeah.
You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com.
Yes, please do.
Okay. For some reason, it did not seem like that's what it was. But
as soon as Ellie says bye at the end of every episode, she just shuts it off. It's like 20 more seconds, or whatever. She's like, "Nope, I'm not listening."
I don't need to hear that part. All right, well, let's get to the Western, and Colvin comes clean. Has a different crisis of leadership going on here. All right, Colvin meets with Carver, thanks him for his loyalty and, as we recall, moving the body. He tells Carver, hey, you're a good supervisor. You get your arrests and your seizures, but, end quote, you ain't shit when it comes to policing. No offense. Or maybe he should have said, with all due respect.
Right.
He comes down on Carver, who's been with the Western for a year and has no CIs. Nobody feeds him info when bad things happen. And that's not like police. Colvin tells Carver that the drug war is not police work. That's the problem. War is two sides battling against one another. Soldiering that's what soldiering is for. And soldiering and policing aren't the same thing. He encourages him to do the police work, to learn his posts, to gather information about the people in his district so that he can protect them properly. And he kind of finishes up with, the drug war ruined this job.
You wanted to see me, sir?
Never seen him. I want to thank you for the loyalty you showed, moving that body. It wasn't the most sensible thing, but I appreciate it nonetheless. You're a good man, Sergeant. You got good instincts. As far as I can tell, you're a decent supervisor. But from where I sit, you ain't shit when it comes to policing. Don't take it personal. It ain't just you. It's all our young police. Whole generation, y'all. Now, you think about it. You've been here over a year now, Carver. You got nobody looking out for you. Nobody willing to talk to you. That about sum it up? And that's a problem. And I didn't think there was any way I was ever gonna get my head around it, but then Dozeman gets shot for some bullshit. And that's when I about reached my limit. And that's when the idea of the free zone of Amsterdam come to me, because this drug thing, this ain't police work. No, it ain't. I mean, I can send any fool with a badge and a gun up on them corners and jack a crew and grab vials. But policing, I mean, you call summer war. And pretty soon, everybody gonna be running around acting like warriors. They gonna be running around on a damn crusade, storming corners, slapping on cuffs, racking up body counts. And when you at war, you need a fucking enemy. And pretty soon, damn near everybody on every corner is your fucking enemy. And soon the neighborhood that you're supposed to be policing, that's just occupied territory. You follow this?
I think so.
Look at the point I'm making, Carver, is this. Soldiering and policing, they ain't the same thing. And before we went and took the wrong turn and started up with these war games, the cop walked a beat, and he learned that post. And if there were things that happened up on that post, whether they be a rape, a robbery, or shooting, he had people out there helping him, feeding them information. But every time I come to you, my DEU sergeant, for information, to find out what's going on out there in them streets, all that came back was some bullshit. You had your stats, you had your arrests, you had your seizures. But don't none of that amount to shit when you're talking about protecting the neighborhood now. Do it? You know, the worst thing about this so-called drug war, to my mind, it ruined this job.
Yeah. So that is David Simon's like fingerprints in my opinion, but otherwise the rest of this is all Ed Burns. Because Ed Burns, you know, I've mentioned this before, but he was a Vietnam War veteran and then turned police officer, turned teacher.
Yeah.
So he's, you know, he has been through kind of the whole process. And so I think for him, he, you know, he's able to speak to it as a kind of like the metaphor of war and, you know, saying, you know, this is kind of what the war on drugs, like people are calling it the war on drugs, and, you know, which means you have to have an enemy. And, you know, so this is very much like, you know, him talking through Colvin. Now, Robert Wisdom has some excellent performances, scenes in this.
God,
So,
yes, so good.
And the way he delivers it is like,
it's amazing.
So heartfelt. So
yes.
I'll just mention that Alan Sepinwall. So I might have mentioned this before, but I'll reiterate here that there was very good indications that season 3 was going to be the final season of The Wire.
Right?
And so he said he didn't particularly like this speech in the sense that it felt very much like something that The Wire had avoided leading up to this.
Okay.
But he said that because he was able to forgive it, number one, because of Robert Williams' performance, but also because it looked like for Ed Burns and David Simon, it looked like the finish line was in sight. And Simon and Burns wanted to say as much as they could in what little time they had left, but the scene stuck out then and it sticks out now. So it is interesting because it is one of those times when you as the viewer feel like they're speaking directly to you.
Right.
Like Carver's the proxy for us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's really just how should we all be thinking about the drug war?
Yeah.
And so,
yeah.
You know, again, that said, I remember this speech quite well because I feel like, yes, every time I hear about fighting drugs, you know, the drug, not the drug war, but to fight, you know, trying to stop the inflow and things like that, you are, if you're thinking about it as a conflict and not as a mental health problem, then you're just going to be battling against demand.
That's true.
And of course you have to make everybody the enemy. You can't be
right.
What's it called? You can't be
like discerning.
Yeah, exactly. Between like, okay, so a drug addict is somebody that we have to, you know, be accommodating to,
right.
But then the drug dealer, we have to treat, you know, it's the drug importer. You have to like, it's not that you should turn the other cheek, but if you stop the demand,
right.
and focus on that,
then the rest of it,
then it all dries up, right? So that's but of course that's the tricky part because you know, as we said, it's a mental health issue, and so in any case, so you can't think of it. You have to think of it more of as like, what is the problem for us as a society, and why do people feel the need to turn to drugs? Yeah, and there you go. So. Anyway. So sorry, that was
it's good, and I mean it's an excellent performance. I love the way that he just comes around from behind the desk, comes to the front, sits on the desk for a while, gets really personal with him, and then sort of comes back to his desk at the end and sits down and kind of just brushes his thumb against his nose, like offers his last little. It's so well done, and I have to say too, Carver, what's that actor's name, Chris?
Seth
Gilliam. Also, I mean, he only has a couple lines, but he's really, I love at the end, like he's just kind of got this thoughtful look in his face, but like stunned thoughtful with his fingers pressed against his lips, like, well, shit, you know, like I got to do something. So I liked that too. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the that's a great point. And actually, you know, this is where one of those things where we see it all the time throughout the series, it seems like, or, you know, we've seen it a few times, like with Freeman and Prez, and now, you know, Colvin, and, you know, essentially you saw with Colvin brought out McNulty, now seeing the same thing with Carver, is that the institutions themselves have no interest in, are looking out for itself, right? And so if if the measurement of success for an institution is lowering homicides or lowering the felony rate, then it means do whatever's necessary. Yep. And if that means that you get a small reduction by, you know, more brutal enforcement, then that's a success. Correct. It has no interest, it only has like a passing interest in making you a better police officer, or, you know, making you better at whatever your job is. Meanwhile, individuals can take initiative and say, okay, we want you to be a better police officer, and here's how you do it. And of course, by doing that, then you also get this improved effectiveness. Right. But it's not the institution. The institution isn't going to like reward Colvin for making Carver a better police officer. And so there you go. So it's just an interesting reminder. And then we have to kind of look out for mentors on our own. That's not a life lesson, but it's a good lesson.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mello pops in at that moment to tell Colvin that the son's called and they know what's up with the free zones. It's begun. That's what Colvin says. He leaves, and this is when we have Carver with that look, that well shit look on his face. Well shit. Okay, so meanwhile, Herc and Truck. I could not believe Truck was there.
I know.
Because it feels like he was kind of defending Colvin along with Carver. But anyways, Herc and Truck are talking to the Sun reporter. They're taking him on a tour of the free zones and telling him what Colvin told them, that they'd move them down there and then they would make arrests, fish in a barrel, but no arrests yet. And the reporter looks around and he looks stunned. Yeah. To say the least. He is in shock. Colvin and Mello arrive at Amsterdam to talk to the Sun reporter. He's at Beniski.
Yeah, Beniski. Yeah.
Colvin takes him aside. Beniski points out the ugly situation there and asks if HQ knows. Colvin comes up with a story about how the free zones are actually part of an enforcement strategy. He kind of intimates that there might be some big high-level bust that's being planned. Please don't ruin all the work that they've done here. I've already said more than I should have. So Beniski agrees to hold the story for a week. Colvin then discusses his options with Mello and Ford, who I think is like a community relations guy. We've seen him before go up and speak to the...
It's a sergeant.
He's some kind of he's some kind of a sergeant.
Yeah, sergeant patrol, I think is what he is.
He ultimately decides that he should be truthful and just tell his story before everything goes to shit. Okay, shall I go on to the Comstat meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was writing out some questions, but I want that. What I'll say here is just you can kind of see the writing on the wall, I would say, and so I want to come back and revisit this. Actually, not in this episode, but in future episodes.
Okay. All right. Well,
little teaser for you.
All right. So at that Comstat meeting, Colvin gives a presentation showing his cleaned up streets, his beautiful corners where drug trafficking was once uncontrollable. And he says that he moved them off the corners. He moved the dealers off the corners. Reed's like, obviously. And so he starts telling them more specifically what he did, identifying areas, rounding up mid-level dealers, making them an offer, ... Reed is kind of slow to figure out what's going on, but Rawls knows what's up. And he tells everyone, Colvin just legalized drugs. He's crazy. He's batshit crazy. Burrell is instantly enraged. And he ends the Comstat meeting and calls Colvin to his office. And man, I love Burrell's performance. And I mean, just talk about good performances. This one. Sure. Oh, this is so good. I mean, you know, I don't want him to be mad at Colvin, but still, it's so amazing when he is.
Yeah. North and Pulaski. The photo was taken at 4 p.m., prime time for street level dealing. And that is Riggs and Calhoun, Mountain Fayette, Emerson and Bryce. It's your footpost, Deputy.
I know where it is, Major. What I don't know and very much want to know is where is the West Baltimore drug trade?
I hope, Major, these are not staged photographs you're showing us.
No, sir. They're not. No, Deputy. I found another approach.
I'm all ears, Bunny.
I moved them off the corners.
God damn it. Don't be coy with me, Major. I can see that. What I want to know is how the fuck you managed to move them and where the fuck they are now.
Deputy, I don't know quite how to put this, but I began by identifying those areas of my district where drug trafficking was least harmful and proceeded to push all street-level dealing towards those areas. Now, at first, dealing with the juveniles on them corners, I had a little success. But ultimately, by rounding up all the mid-level dealers in my district and making them offer they couldn't refuse, I was able to...
You made them an offer?
Yes, sir. Either they move their people to one of 3 designated areas where drug enforcement was not a district priority, or they face the wrath of every able-bodied soul in my district.
Major, I don't understand. The only time we can hold a drug corner is when we assign officers to stand there. Your slides don't suggest any concerted deployment on any corners. How were you able to
Jesus Christ, you nit. Don't you see what he's done? He's legalized drugs.
Actually, I elected to ignore them.
You lost your fucking mind. He's lost his fucking mind.
You, in my office, now.
Okay.
That's it, gentlemen.
The fortitude of his anger. In the commissioner's office, Burrell says he's dead, while Major Reed says, we're all dead. Colvin tells Burrell that he acted alone, that he's willing to lie about who allowed this to happen. He also says, don't get any of my people, please. Don't go after any of my people. Burrell asks if he's threatening him. Rawls is just like a combination of amazed and enraged by the creativity of it all. And then Colvin pulls out letters that are glowingly positive about what they've done, about their clean corners. Burrell tells him that it's not enough to protect them. And Burrell tells Colvin that he is to take his vacation time so as to avoid drawing attention to the scandal. He tells him, don't report for a shift until you are notified. Oh, I just love his delivery on that. He is just furious.
Yep.
And on the way out the door, I love this last bit. Colvin tells Burrell, hey, Baltimore Sun reporter is aware of my deployment and delaying a story from the press for a week tops.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dead.
You mean we're fucking dead? We're all dead behind this shit. Jesus Christ.
You know what I did knowingly and on my own. I mean, my men had nothing to do with this. They thought it was part of some elaborate trap. So if you need me to fall on that sword, I'm good with that.
You're good with it?
Hey, I got my vacation time, and that's 30 in a couple of months. So if you need me to fall, I'm ready. But don't let me hear that you're taking any punitive action against my people. Because I can get on a soapbox and I can lie as good as the next man, if I have to.
Are you threatening me?
I believe I am, sir. My apologies.
Bunny, you cocksucker, I gotta give it to you. A brilliant idea. Insane and illegal, but stone fucking brilliant nonetheless. After all my putting my foot up people's asses to decrease the numbers, he comes in and in one stroke gets a fucking 14% decrease. Fucking shame it's gonna end our careers, but still.
Look, you all probably tired of hearing from me, but brought these letters from community associations, ministers, business people, citizens. And they're all positive. They're all happy that the dealers are off the corners.
You think that's gonna save our asses? Do you?
No, I guess not, but that and my badge, that's all I got.
I might have your badge, Major, but not today. I don't want to draw any attention to this shit before we're ready to speak to it. So if you have any vacation time, you're taking it now. Do not report for a shift until notified.
Oh, one more thing, sir. The Sun reporter is aware of my deployment. I told him an investigation was pending. He promised to delay the article.
How long?
About a week. Tops.
Yeah. So, you know, there's, I think there's something really interesting about Colvin kind of, that the comment about this is your old footpost deputy and trying to garner a little bit of goodwill with Rawls before he has to drop the hammer of truth, essentially. And then, but otherwise, like, yeah, you got everything except I just love how Rawls, he's lost his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, but he's not saying it in a panicked way.
No,
he's just
not.
like, I'm like, you have to
wow.
laugh at this. So,
Yeah.
So I just appreciate that.
Ugh.
And yeah, and I think that there's something, another good indication is that, you know, Reed is like, wait, I don't understand the words you're saying. And Rawls picks it up immediately.
Yes.
Which, you know, just a reminder, like even when we were back in season 1, when they were at the scene where Kima got shot, Rawls is the one who figures out how the shooters got in and out of the scene.
Right.
So he can put the pieces together, but he's
quick.
his priorities are where they are. And that's kind of what, it's one of those things where you wonder, like, okay, so you're smart enough to figure this out, and yet you don't seem to have any kind of indication of being interested in trying to help your people be better at their jobs. I don't, it seems like a guy that smart would be better about that. But anyway, and then as you said, like the dynamic between Rawls and Burrell, where Burrell is, as you said, like so like eerily calm.
Yes.
Right? Just, every word is carefully crafted.
Yes.
The lowest possible volume.
Yes.
Meanwhile, like, Rawls is just like,
No.
I said I wanted a murder rate drop, but I didn't want to go to jail.
Exactly. I gotta hand it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
Just a really great scene. And then, and I think that, like, what's really fascinating, I think, is Frankie Faison, who plays Burrell, and Robert Wisdom, like, so because they're both playing this calm way, but there's a really subtle difference, right? Robert Wisdom is like kind of resigned.
Yes.
He had been waiting for this for a long time.
Right.
Whereas Burrell is like, I'm so mad that if I raise my voice at all, I'm going to kill somebody.
Exactly.
So,
if I could shoot lasers out of my eyes.
Exactly. Yeah. So So anyway, just you covered all that, but I just felt like
it's so good.
It's such a good.
worth
It's such a good
talking
thing. Got to
about
keep talking about
it. It is. Okay, let's get into some politics. A little bit out of order here because I'm going to go, based on what we just talked about with Burrell. Let's continue with that. He goes to meet Mayor Royce, and Parker. Parker's chief of staff, right?
Yep.
Okay. To tell them about Colvin's actions. Burrell says, he did it without my knowledge. But they say that does not matter, and the buck will not stop at this office. Burrell tells Royce about the crime reduction, 14%, remember, and gives him letters from supporters. Maybe they could phrase this as a new initiative and get under this in a way that maybe we have no mud on anyone. Royce is clearly intrigued by the 14%, but not enough to try to get ahead of this or to use it to his advantage. So Royce then dismisses Burrell, but as he does, you can see that he's still looking with a great deal of interest at the report. And Parker tells him, don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think he's going to use it.
Okay.
I think he's going to actually embrace it. That's,
okay.
Yep. He looks pretty eager by that.
Well, embrace. Okay.
Yes.
Colvin will embrace Amsterdam. Okay. Got that written down.
Yes.
Right. Interesting.
All right.
The only thing I would just comment about this scene is it does. I was like, would telling somebody that you didn't know was happening, would that be better or worse? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
know.
we're giving you the crime drop. Like, what do you care?
Yeah,
Like, do you want us to ask you questions?
For?
So, and then just a comparison. So the last time, I can't remember. Was this the last time? No, it was a couple times ago. In any case, it was earlier in the season when there was the issue with the academy class.
Yeah.
And Roy says, "Thank you, Commissioner," as he dismisses him because he's trying to say, "Here, you're going to be my full, you're going to get the full term." And this time he says, "Thank you, Irvin."
Yes,
and
he
so,
does. That's a good point.
Yeah, so
yes.
it's just, clearly the message was being sent.
Oh, yeah,
the
whole,
way,
how this works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into with friends like Carcetti.
Okay.
Who are these enemies? Carcetti and D'Agostino are meeting at the bar we've seen them at before, along with some of Carcetti's other politician friends. I could not remember their names. I have it in a previous one. But some guys, they're discussing campaign strategies, and obviously Carcetti is reluctant to begin making fundraising calls, but D'Agostino says, hey, we really need this money, starts listing things they got to pay for. The major issue, however, is race, the color of their skin. And somebody points out, we got a monotone thing going on. Carcetti's team basically says we're going to need some African Americans on the campaign team. We need endorsements from Black community leaders. And D'Agostino says very sternly that Gray has to stay in the race in order to split the Black vote. Carcetti does not like this too much. We know Gray is his friend. So he is conflicted.
Yep.
And then later he is in bed. Carcetti's in bed with his wife, Jen, I think.
Yep.
And talking about his feelings about setting up Tony. And she says, why don't you just go to him and say, hey, may the best man win. But Carcetti says, no, if he knows that I'm in the race, he might drop out and I need him to stay in. It's the only way that I can possibly win is if he stays in the race. So, yeah, I mean, at least he feels shitty about it. But
yeah,
I don't think he's going to change what he does.
Probably not.
Nope.
There's an interesting question, too, about his... What's the word? Like, is his motivation about his personal glory, or does he just think that he's going to do a better job?
I think he thinks he's going to... Well, I mean, he kind of like goes on about... he says he's going to be the education mayor. Like,
yeah.
It's clear that he thinks that Gray doesn't have a good plan. He's a nice guy. He's probably a pretty good politician, but he's not. I think he really does think he'll do a better job.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
I acknowledge, like, he's ridiculously ambitious. He's definitely into himself, as we saw him looking in the mirror while he's doing another woman on the bathroom counter.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he does believe he's going to do a better job than Gray.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the important component, as you said, is like Tony kind of limped in. He's like, I think I'll be the education mayor. And I mean, I think he's looking at it as like, Royce is vulnerable. I'm a living, breathing person.
Yeah.
But he doesn't really have a vision in the way that it seems like. Now, we spend a lot more time with Carcetti than Gray, but they certainly, the show certainly paints Gray as kind of like more opportunistic and less a visionary.
Yes.
Whereas Carcetti really wants. Has shown not like he has his own ambition, as you said, but he really seems to have a desire to make the city, improve the city, and make changes. Now, even though I'm sure you would agree with me in saying that if you fixed education in a
I'd be really happy about that. Yeah, I think that's huge. I think that's the foundation of everything.
Exactly.
But just saying I'll be the education mayor is not really
boring.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and I guess Gray probably, when hearing that Royce is, distancing his voters and distancing his allies, I haven't seen any other black people that are on the council. At least they haven't been part of the story, right? Like he probably seems like the next obvious choice.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Just one last little note is that Jen is reading a book by Dennis Lehane, who is part of the writer's room for The Wire.
Of course.
So he's, just they had to throw that in there.
Plug.
So, because they already saw Laura Lippman, and I think there was a David Simon book in there too. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Calvin's new con. Let's work with the major case unit for a bit here. McNulty's feeling antsy, really antsy in the first portion of this whole episode. Most of the episode, I should say. He bitches to Freeman about how they should be up on wiretaps, that every call's probably related to a drug conspiracy. Freeman says, hey, I'm just trying to get where Perlman wants, a known trafficker. Daniels and Perlman meet with Judge Phelan to discuss their difficulties with dealers ditching their burners. And as we recall from season 1, Phelan would like to, I think he said, throw a fuck into Perlman.
Yeah.
Was that the yes? Mm-hmm. He asks about her boss Demper, but he's too focused on re-election. Feds can't do anything either. At the mention that the phone companies have them by the balls, pardon Rhonda's French, Phelan says, give me a boilerplate affidavit and I'll sign it anytime, day or night. Mm-hmm. Wink, wink, as they get the number. And then Phelan shares a little French himself, telling her that she's looking very charming today. And as they leave, Daniels comments on how Phelan has the hots for Rhonda.
Yeah.
Yep. How long's that been going on? Oh, man.
Yeah, Phelan is gross.
He's gross, dude.
God, it's just cringy. It's just
cringy.
God, dude.
But he does such a great job of being so cringy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah.
All right, well, Daniels and Perlman discuss the meeting with McNulty. McNulty's again annoyed by the hoops to jump through. He wants to push the paperwork through, but Daniels says it's not worth it. Rhonda asks if he has a law degree. Why would he want that? Mm-hmm. When McNulty hears, her reaction to it is pretty fun. When McNulty hears that Phelan is the assigned judge, he is extra annoyed, seeing as Phelan left him high and dry in season 1 when he was up for re-election, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
Daniels points out that McNulty believes that anyone who gets in his way is worthless. And after a pause, McNulty basically says, yeah, that's true.
Yep.
All right. Freeman gets Bodie's voice when he's on the phone with his Meemaw about laundry and matches it to a prior recording from when they had the payphones tapped. Remember those days? Back in season 1. Again, a lot of callbacks to season 1.
Yep.
And now they have probable cause for a wiretap. Freeman says, we're up. I also want to say, don't leave your laundry in the washing machine overnight, okay? It gets stinky, and then it just stays in there when you dry it. So get that stuff in the dryer. Finish your laundry, top to bottom, right? Don't make your Meemaw mad. Don't make me mad.
Okay.
Is this something that I deal with in my household? Oh, no, never. All right, here's my rant.
Maybe if we have, Bodie's Meemaw on the recording of it and just like play it, Do you want to hear Bodie's Meemaw yelling at you?
Exactly, because clearly my yelling does nothing. All right. Sorry. Is there anything that you wanted to share, Chris?
I'm sorry. No, you know what? It actually got me. It reminded me of something. Sounds insane. It sounds insane because it is. I once forgot my laundry in my apartment building laundromat or laundry room for like a week. And I was like, where is that shirt? And I went downstairs and it was in the washer.
Oh my God.
I mean, and I was like 22, 24 or whatever at the time. So I'm like, I don't know, I'll just throw a dryer sheet in there. We'll be fine.
No, you got to wash that again.
I probably did. But I was like, oh, and the funny thing is nobody did anything. They just open it up and be like, oh, that's weird.
Can't use that one.
So that's a little trick for you guys.
Wow.
If you You want to reserve a washing machine?
Yeah,
just throw
keep your
some wet
stuff in
rags
it.
in there, and nobody's going
like,
to take it out.
I don't want to touch that.
Yeah. So anyway.
Oh.
But no, yeah. I mean that. So now you've got the whole play. Now it all makes sense. I think from what they're talking about. Just the connection back to the Phelan comment is that you have the affidavit saying that so an affidavit is different from a warrant. But it's basically like that's informing the warrant. And so all you have to do is say, here, we heard this. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as you get confirmation that this actually happened, then it gets signed. And then you can basically have the warrant immediately. So you don't have to retype the new information. It's just a placeholder. And then so once they heard that, confirm them, and say, they basically were saying, we heard Bodie brought us. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as they did, then they just sign it, send it over to the judge, and boom, they got the warrant.
Yep.
So
okay, nice. All right, well, McNulty, Freeman, Caroline, Perlman, and Daniels are listening to their wiretap. We hear some coded language with Bodie and somebody else. Perlman asks on our behalf about this code. So we find out that the Apollo means 125th Street, which actually means 125 grams. 2 tickets means twice that. So Bodie is ordering the resupply from a dealer known as Tweety Bird. Mm-hmm. Caroline says the one code word they can't figure out is Hamsterdam, and she guesses it has something to do with the stash house. Mm-hmm. McNulty departs to meet up with Kima and check out Bodie's meetup with Tweety Bird. So things are underway. Mm-hmm. Daniels then asks Perlman to leave the room and tells Freeman and Caroline that Internal Investigation Department, is now involved in the present situation. Not surprising, he says, given the racial component. Daniels has to ask Massey and Caroline and Freeman if they ever felt a racist vibe from Prez. Massey and Freeman both say no. I mean, Massey really just says like, well, I got some other weird vibes, but not a racist one. Freeman's like, really? You got to ask me that? And when Daniels leaves, Caroline says she doesn't want to start anything, but does wonder if Prez would have shot Wagner if he were white. While Freeman defends Prez by saying the suspect was described as a number 1 male, which I had to look up. It's police code for black male. Mm-hmm. And found out, too, that is a practice that nowadays a lot of police departments have turned away from. Now they just say BM, black and male.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So number 1.
I wonder why.
I don't know. I guess number 1 just means like the apex of the bad guys or something like that. It's a little bit more pointed. But anyway, so yeah, they're trying to use more neutral language that's still descriptive in what they say.
Okay.
And fast.
Now, so now I got to figure out. I got to look up like what number 1 male, like where the derivation of that came from.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that boy with the sharp nose, he going to the Apollo. The Apollo? Yeah, he gonna need 2 tickets.
Damn, Tweety Bird working that shit.
Motherfucker, how many times I gotta tell you not to use no names?
Oh yeah, right. So I holler at you. Alright.
Apollo like the theater?
Like 125th Street.
125 grams, 1/8 of a kilo. 2 tickets means twice that.
The only new code so far is Amsterdam.
Amsterdam.
We're thinking it might have something to do with the stash house.
Well, I'm gonna hook up with Kima. Catch the Tweety Bird meet.
You're happy with what we're getting?
Another week of calls like this, and we'll have the network fleshed out and plenty more phones to go up on.
I need a moment with the detectives.
Sure.
IID picked up Prez's shooting. It's to be expected. The racial thing alone is tense enough that they gotta react.
No luck at all to that boy, huh?
For the supervisor's report, I need to ask if either of you had any indication that Prez harbored racial prejudices.
Well, he harbored some weird shit, no doubt, but I never got a racial vibe.
Lieutenant, you seriously asking?
Not to start no shit, but you think Wagner gets shot if he's white?
Description called for a number 1 male.
I'm just saying.
So just one little note is, well, first of all, when Daniels wants to be professional, it just always strikes me as like, this is how to be professional. Right. So he says, I need a moment with the detectives.
Yes.
And you're like, You could be like, I don't know. I just like, I need a moment with Lester and Caroline or whatever, but no, I know. So that's, number one. And then Freeman says no luck at all to that boy. Yeah. Which is what Bubbles said about Johnny when Johnny got arrested.
Right. Yeah.
So again, just they're throwing out all of the old, the greatest hits. So I just appreciate that. And then, I think it's a good question though, and I mean, there's no way to know, right? If it had been, if Wagner had been white, but I think that what that goes to show is that even though Caroline does not see, she's given the freedom to say that she thought that Prez was racist on some level, but she didn't, right? And yet she still doubts that it wasn't racially motivated, right? Which I think is it's an important, it's important for us to kind of acknowledge that, that is, this sounds so ridiculous. I'm a white guy like saying this, but I just definitely feel like when I hear people saying like, you don't really understand what the black experience is like in this country, like this is a good indicator. It's like, well, logically, no, we didn't show, but it's like, you don't have any confidence because this is what you grow up in.
Exactly.
So anyway,
and
I'm not sorry. I do not understand it, but like this is a little window into what I think it must be like.
Right. Yeah.
So
it's just, when it's institutionalized.
Yes.
Right. The racism. It's just like why a lot of, there's a lot of people in the black population that don't trust, healthcare, right? Or what doctors say because they have been used in experiments and abused and not treated and like seen more as cattle and test subjects than actual patients. So you can see why that is, so hard to get away from.
It's a great point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we see Greg's walk back to the car that McNulty's waiting in and tells him she's got eyes on Tweety Bird. He is still super impatient, even though he says he's good. He's not. He starts telling Greg's about his failed relationship with D'Agostino. He says it's turned to shit. And his main complaint is that here he is. He's this really good, really smart detective. And D'Agostino makes him feel incredibly small. He finishes with, she fucking looks through me, Kima. Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Tweety Bird parked up there. All we gotta do is wait for the Rio.
Oh, these fucks don't dick around, make us sit here all day.
What, this eating at you?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I can see that.
Remember that woman I was talking about?
A politician woman? How's it going?
It ain't. Turned to shit. I feel like I don't even belong to any world that even fucking matters.
'Cause you're a cop?
Nah, it's not just that. It's like I went to meet her once. She was in the hotel room, the top floor. I punched the button on the elevator. It doesn't even go there because you had to have some fucking special key to even get to that special fucking floor. So I go to the front desk, some sneering fuck calls upstairs, give me permission to go get laid. I listen to the shit she talks about. First time in my life, I feel like a fucking doormat. Like anyone with any smarts would do something else with his life, earn money or get elected. Like I'm just a breathing machine for my fucking dick. I'm serious. I'm the smartest asshole in 3 districts, and she looks at me like I'm some stupid fuck playing some stupid game for stupid penny ante stakes. She fucking looks through me, Kima.
Yeah, I sorry, the only thing I was going to mention about this was, well, first of all, breathing machine for my dick. That's
that line is pretty amazing.
But I got I didn't actually make this connection until just today, but is that McNulty is kind of in the same situation as Stringer is, right? And he was wandering around, being very frustrated at the beginning of the episode, and he's complaining, and Stringer's outside smoking, and it's like because they're both kind of like feeling like they are adrift, and so it's just very fascinating that we've talked about this a few times, is that when you have your identity but then you find out that your identity, doesn't have the value you thought it was, or it kind of, you're knocked off your bearings because here he is talking to a woman that has no idea what he does.
Yes.
And she, just dismisses it essentially. And for whatever reason, it really affects him. And so that affects him at a very deep level. And now he's frustrated because he doesn't know what his purpose is and what his identity is anymore. So, and I think for not, Stringer's is a little bit different in that he had all the stability and now it's all gone. Right. He's still kind of he still knows what he's kind of his purpose is and what he's trying to do, but it doesn't have the value that it once did in his world. So just an interesting, comparison between the two.
Okay, well, the next day, a Happy McNulty reports successfully tailing Tweety Bird to a possible stash house, but the rest of the unit's pretty down because the Barksdale organization, they've all ditched their burners, and they only got 30 hours of material, plus we have the 4-day turnaround we know about. So that was like, I think they say $700 per burner. Or $700.
Yeah. So per phone, per intercept,
Per intercept. Sidner thinks they should continue to follow Bernard and Squeak to try to get wiretaps on the next batch of phones, but Kima says, why put that much effort out for just 30 hours? We're thinking about how to get ahead of the curve. Perlman says, well, what if we could pre-wiretap the phones? And then, you think about, do we just hope that they go to the stores and buy them? And then Freeman and McNulty kind of look at each other, and they both have an idea that just might work. Again, ... All right.
Yeah, sorry, I just have to point out that I had a few opportunities to mention this, but I'll say it now. I like that Tweety Bird was a name because it's a little Looney Tunes reference.
Yes.
And I just, hey, the drug guys were watching Looney Tunes at one point.
Yep.
So
we don't have a Bugs yet, but maybe it'll come.
Sylvester.
Yeah, Sylvester.
Okay. Anyway.
Porky? No, why not? Okay.
Sure.
Follow up from before with Stringer. Okay, so mentioned this before on Stringer. So now let's come back to this is on the other side of things. We've got Sidner watching the camera that's on Copycat. He notices Stringer pacing and smoking. We have Freeman look over and see it too heavy the head that wears the crown, he says. So that's what's going on from the major crime side of things. McNulty and Greggs visit Bubs to ask him about Bernard and Squeak. And Bubs recognizes but doesn't know Bernard. He does, however, know Squeak, and he is fond of her for sure. Oh, she lost a little weight. Yeah, that girl looked good. Back at the detail, Kima tells Free that, yep, Bubs knows her. And why do they need to know Squeak? Well, we shall find out soon.
No, I can't put a name on him. But I seen him around. He's off the west side. He ain't no drug dealer. I mean, unless he's doing it on the QT.
You can't go at him? Game him?
I don't know, Kima. I mean, it'd be pressing.
By her?
Squeak. Off of Landval. Yeah, she used to boost for Turtle Wells, old mob. She lost a little bit of weight, too. I mean, looking a lot better than I remember. And I remember a lot about that girl.
Damn, Bubs, is there anybody west side you don't know?
Just citizens and shit.
My CI knows the girl.
You can work her?
It's smooth, yeah.
Check this.
It's Western District. What Stringer's calling the Western?
Maybe he's surrendering.
After all the work we've done, I'd never forgive this son of a bitch.
Oh, and a little aside, we see the detail log showing Stringer making a call to the Western District.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. They say why to give himself up? That would just kill McNulty.
Yeah.
If that happened.
I love that line too. So then just to go back to Bubbles and Squeak.
Yes.
He said she lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was funny because.
Oh, she's always asking for food.
There was that, but she's like, oh, if we keep this up, I'm gonna gain some serious weight. She's like, I want a Shrek Slurpee and a Krispy Kreme, and she still lost weight. So that was pretty funny.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, and then McNulty. I just love McNulty's line. I'd never forgive the son of a bitch. Yeah,
Yes.
that's good stuff.
All right, well, Daniels and Perlman meet up with Phelan again with their new plan, and despite there being no legal precedence with a cross of Rhonda's lovely legs, he agrees to go ahead with it. Daniels gives Perlman a look, later tells her she's got quite the legal mind. She knows how to work it.
Yeah. So I have to, like, is this a tool that women are aware of? Should men be aware that they will be manipulated like this?
Yes, they should be aware.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think it gets used.
Have you used it?
Yeah, probably. I don't know that I've done the leg crossing thing, but I've definitely used my feminine wiles to get what I want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have a question if we get enough emails. Then we'll have
maybe that might just be one where it's just dinner at your place and beverages.
Okay, fair enough. Just with our spouses, just to make sure everybody's clear.
With our spouses, family friends here, family friends,
yeah.
everybody's invited.
Okay.
All right, the next day, Greggs and McNulty meet with Bubbles, tell them about their plan to sell phones to Squeak. As they talk, McNulty thinks he spots Beatty Russell driving past, and he goes crazy. He chases the car down in a very unsafe way and yells, "Sweet Beatrice Russell!"
Yeah.
But the driver was not Beatty. Oops. He's just going to say hi. And as they drive away, we see Bub's shopping cart in the trunk.
Yep.
So I love that.
Yeah,
I was wondering why the trunk was open, like they'd forgotten to close it, and then I see them turning around, like, oh yeah, the shopping cart's in there.
Right. Yeah. And of course, that's a little bit of a callback to the last episode where where Freeman's lecturing him and Beatrice's photos on the refrigerator.
Exactly.
So,
All right. Later, Kima and McNulty help Bubble stage a reconnection with Sister Squeak. And Mr. Smooth Bubbles, he starts talking her up. I love McNulty's line, he could talk a cat off a fish cart.
Absolutely.
Oh, so good. And at the last minute before Squeak takes off, he says, "Oh, I'm selling these burners if this could be helpful to you." Oh, I guess it could.
She's a go.
Showtime, Bubs.
Oh, shit.
Sister Squeak.
Lot of men bubbles.
How you been, girl? Been a long time.
T-shirts. What the hell kind of money's in T-shirts?
Girl, you just don't know. How's your game, huh? I just locked up.
Shit, I've been on paper for a year. I got some things going.
See that?
How's he doing?
Talk a cat off a fish cart.
Aight, Bubs, I gotta get.
I'll see you later on. Yo, sweet. I about forgot. I can sell you one of these little cheap if you got use for the shit.
She brings Bernard to a meeting with Bubs and Freeman. Freeman is posing as the supplier of the burners. I love that gold cap on his tooth.
Oh, yeah.
Freeman says he's a con man. Oh, yeah, not only that, but his parted hair. So good.
Yeah.
He says he's con man, and he goes through his lengthy curriculum vitae. We find out that that he can encrypt, I guess, numbers. Bernard wants to test him, which Bubs and Squeak kind of both act like it's a step too far. Like, oh, why don't you trust me? And come on, Bernard, stop being so crazy. Bernard dials a number, and Freeman pretends he's on a call while also looking at the number dialed. You see him looking out of his eyes, the side. He's doing the side eye, but he's also pretending he's like talking to, hey, Maureen or whatever. And then he reports the numbers back almost perfectly. And I guess this proves he's a certified con man. Like he's good enough to do business with. It's kind of weird because it's like, this is not the business you're doing with him, but it's sly enough, I guess, that Bernard thinks he's legit.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I was a super stroker on the pool circuit in the early days, but mostly as pickpocket and short cons. I did the long distance access card heists before cell phones got popular.
Crib numbers?
Yeah, I favored airports, yeah.
Can you still read numbers?
Whoa. What's up with this? Man, think I'm bought bad merchandise? Because that's what you think. We could just be feet right now.
Damn, Bernard, why you acting all CIA and shit? We trying to make money here.
If you had to answer the people I do, your ass would be damn more psychosis too. That's all I'm saying.
I appreciate caution. Because I'm hanging out here too. Give it a go. Use your cell phone. Marlene, you send that copy off to Paris? Thank you, darling. That'll work. I'm at the airport. The shuttle, yes. 3 1 0 4 8 16 91 7 8 3 1 2. Now that last number might be a 7. I'm not too sure with these small keypads and all.
We can do business.
That's it.
Yeah. So did you understand? I have to tell you, like, it took me a few watches.
I didn't catch it until the second one.
Okay.
Because at first I didn't realize that he was actually looking at the phone.
Right.
I was like,
right.
was he listening to the tone of the numbers? And that's how he could tell. And then the second time it's like, oh no, he's actually looking and pretending like he's on the phone
Exactly.
right now.
Yeah. I mean, and so that's right. Exactly. So you've got it. But just to make sure it's clear. So he's talking about he used to run the scam at airports.
Yeah.
So that means being on a payphone. So this is back when people had calling cards.
Yes.
So you would dial a 1-800 number.
Yes.
Then you would punch in a number to get access essentially to this account that would then give you long distance minutes.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what this was.
Okay.
So this is really like, if there's something like you would never see today, it's because like people paid for long distance calls. It's like, yeah, we not only did we pay for long distance calls, we did it on payphones. So that was the whole type of thing.
Yes.
So anyway, so he's on the payphone at the airport while somebody is calling long distance, and he's reading the number that is being punched in.
I see. That's what
and
it
he's
is.
and then he has that number, and then he can use that basically to, on his own, or to, essentially, well, there's a separate scam of like creating the cards and then, whatever.
Okay.
Maybe he just needs legitimate card numbers and then he can boost them up or whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
That part, I think you can kind of make up whatever you want.
Yeah.
But the point is that when I first saw this, I was like, so I kind of assumed he had like an earpiece and somebody was paying attention.
Yes.
But no, he's just basically, just acting as if he's at the airport, just to sell that this is how it works. And so, and then because I don't know what it was, like he was like when he did the thing with his pipe or whatever, and the tobacco, I thought like he had like written it down.
I
or whatever,
thought so too, but then you see he's not writing anything down,
so.
and it's kind of fun because you see Bubbles' reaction. He's like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh shit, this works.
Yeah. So anyway, and
we didn't get found out.
And of course, it's all in service of just convincing Bernard and Squeak that this is a guy who actually did this stuff,
right?
And then that gets them to the next meeting. So anyway, but it took me a little while to kind of figure this out. It's not that it's like, it's obviously not crucial to the story to understand.
No.
But it's, it's just like one of those things where like, what the hell was going on there? Like, oh, now I
Super
get
subtle.
it. So I just had to explain it because I had to make sure it made sense in my head.
Yes. Perfect sense.
Okay.
Well, Freeman takes Bernard and Squeak to, I guess this is a fake cell phone shop one that they've accommodated commandeered for the time, and he explains that he is taking trashed burners. People bring them to him. He pays them $2 a pop, and then he pays to have them reactivated with 200 extra minutes using bogus accounts, and that is done thanks to some magic on a keyboard via his niece, who happens to be Caroline. And then this gets them 60 more days of use, 6 more days on the contract of the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And they sell them as if they are new.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, hey, if Bernard does business with us, he can clear 50 on each phone this way.
Mm-hmm.
So Bernard's in, but he says he has to have receipts. I like it. Freeman says, can we accommodate the man?
Mm-hmm.
Caroline will reluctantly do it, but damn, she got the bingo tonight.
God, what a line.
So good.
Yep, so good.
You see Freeman's face like, wasn't expecting that one, Caroline. Thank you.
The way it works is this. If you don't re-up the minutes on your cell phone before 60 days, the wireless company recycles the phone numbers, and that's where I get them. I put the word out on the street that I'm buying tossed-off burners, paying $2 a pop. Street people bring me hundreds. I bring them in here to my niece, she jiggles the computer, juices them up another 200 minutes on a bogus account. And that automatically extends the life of the phone for another 60 days. She charges me 20 on each phone on her end. I double it or more on the street to make mine.
So what you saying?
Baby, a standard track phone with 2, maybe 400 minutes on it gonna run you 150, 200 easy. I charge you an even 100. You clear 50 on each phone.
That's if and you can back them up with receipts. I gotta show receipts looking like they from different places or I can't play.
Can we accommodate the good man?
Damn, Calvin, I got the bingo tonight.
All right, so that is it
Mhm.
for major crimes.
Okay.
All right, shall we move on?
Yeah, not much to it. Yeah. you got
Okay,
it.
we're Mouzone-ing In On Omar. Brother Mouzone and Lamar pass by the scene the crime scene that Holly's at.
Mhm.
Lamar says he has no idea where they are. Mouzone tells him with mild annoyance, they are in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland. We see them later in a hotel. Both are reading silently. Sirens go off, and Mouzone looks up, and he's thinking something, who knows what, just in that moment. Mouzone and Lamar go to a construction site, and we find out it is where the towers once stood, and they are the same towers, as we might recall, that Barksdale hired Mouzone to protect. Lamar wonders what happened. Mouzone says, reform. He's got this kind of evil kind of laugh or something after. Guy, he's an interesting character. Mouzone meets with Vincent, and I'm not sure, we don't know how they know each other, because he says, oh, brother, you're back in town, and tells him that he's looking for a man who, blah, blah, blah. We insert a description of Omar Little, scar across face. Vincent knows exactly who he's talking about and tells him that Omar runs solo, except when he's got a boy or two. And we see a little bit of a shift in Mozone's face. So at that moment, we know he doesn't think there's just like a boy working for him.
Right.
No, there's something else.
Yeah.
It's a relationship sort of thing.
So, brother, what brought you back?
It disturbs me to leave business unfinished.
Heard you was shot before you even got started down here. Not like you to get played.
Betrayed, you mean? I am looking for the man they sent. From his accent, he's homegrown, raised on the street. Skilled, intelligent, late 20s, dark, but with a scar across his face, like so. You down with this nigga?
I know him. Not to speak to. But you can't be anywhere near the game and not know the motherfucker.
He with Barksdale?
He with himself. Except for when he running with a young boy, too.
Okay, Omar meets with Butchie. They talk about the attempted shooting of his grandmother, Josephine. Butchie is outraged that the Sunday truce was broken. Omar says, yeah, they sent her a new hat, which we knew they were going to do from the last episode.
Yep.
So they did. She asks how Miss Josephine's. Omar says she's okay, but also says, I want you to go into my bank, and I don't care what it costs. I want to know where they hide out. And Butchie tells Omar where it is. It's a funeral home. Omar's pretty unhappy that Butchie's kept this information from him the whole time, but Butchie tells him that he was trying to protect him and that his chances of being successful against them is slim as a garter snake.
The good Lord set Sunday morning aside for church going. Even Kenny Bird and Peanut, when they was warring, had the good sense to respect the truce.
You know them Barksdale sent a hat.
A church crown?
Walked up, rang the bell, and sat it down on the post.
Because they shade. Is Miss Josephine mended?
Bruised up still, but she all right, though.
But you ain't.
Not until I settle this for good. Hey, yo, Butch, I want you to go inside my bank and spread the word. Omar paying cash money to get at them people, you feel me?
Hey, save your money.
Come on now, Butch, I got to do this,
I'm
yo.
saying you ain't gotta pay. Tompkins up on McCullough.
What the funeral home? You mean to tell me all this time you had a scope on them clowns and you ain't let loose a mumbling word?
I caught myself looking out for you. Fact of the matter is, your chances of going up against that mob and coming back is as slim as a garter snake.
I can't help that now, Butch.
So, all right. I don't know if you want to step in here, Chris, and say anything before I move out.
Well, I guess like the big thing is that. Oh, I'll talk is the Butchie Omar conversation, but I do want to comment like that. There's something great about Brother's question to Vincent about, are you down with this? I like that.
Yes,
I
are you
don't know
down
why.
with
Yeah,
this?
yeah. There's something, I don't know what it is exactly, but just like, it's It's just a really good line.
Yes.
And then I don't know, I just like the blue color as they're talking. I don't know what it is about that either, but yeah. And then so what I was wondering about, like, just to go back even further, is but when Mouzone is in the hotel room and he hears the gunshot, I kind of wonder if he had a little bit of a flashback because that's what happened. I don't know.
Okay.
But that's but it's I didn't really pick it up.
Was. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was I was kind of focused on like, well, what are they reading? And he's reading his Harper's Magazine or whatever. But
right.
And Lamar was reading too, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, but then okay. So then talking about the Butchie Omar conversation, this is just one of those things where Butchie he's just so good. I mean, he's just they're both great.
Yes.
And then. But then is Miss Josephine Mending. I just
I
so
love
good.
that.
Yeah, I love that. I definitely, if there's something that I could do, is like bring back the Miss. If you're talking about an elderly woman, call her a Miss. I definitely feel like we should do that. But in any case, when he tells him about where Avon and Stringer are, I caught myself looking out for you, and he's kind of like been trying to protect him because he knows. He just knows how dangerous it is. And then, Omar just saying in this very resigned way, I can't help that now. Right. Like, you could, but it's just, he it's just knows.
Matter of principle for him.
Exactly at this point. So, I don't know if it's like, I'm just now making all kinds of reaches, but I mean, it's just one of those things where if you kind of compare it to, Bunny, he's like, I can't change, this is going to all these things are now going to fall because of this. Meanwhile, you have Stringer and McNulty being very frustrated, whereas Omar is like, he's facing this, essentially existential crisis, but he's doing it in a way that, kind of aligns with his values, sociopathic as they are.
Yes.
So anyway, it's such the whole scene is terrific. So
it is.
Okay.
It is. Omar begins to stake out the funeral home and sees Stringer leaving. And from the number of cigarettes that drop on the ground, you can tell he's been there a while. Mm-hmm. Brother Mouzone decides that Lamar, an obvious homophobe, should go into various gay bars looking for Omar. If someone like him goes around asking for Omar, he reasons the word's bound to get back to him. Lamar goes to several bars, which he has a pretty hard time with. Omar's nowhere to be found in them, but we do see Rawls in the background of one of these bars, smiling with a drink in a maroon knit sweater. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird that I had to pause it and text you, Chris, and say, wait, is Rawls gay?
Text around, Rawls.
Because I don't have a problem with that, but I did not think that at all from the way that he, his personality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
Lamar finally gets a lead by being really aggressive to a bartender. He refers to him as a cocksucker, knocks down a drink, and this catches the attention of Omar's boyfriend, Dante. And so Lamar goes back to the car. Dante comes up behind and pulls a gun on him. And then Mouzone rushes out, knocks Dante out, and then does this little cheek stroke on Lamar at the end, which is like, what is that? Just trying to make him extra uncomfortable after everything he's gone through.
Yeah, I think so.
Rude.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That is Mouzone-ing In On Omar. He's going to get there.
Okay.
He's going to find him.
Yep. So, first of all, wanted to just mention that after the scene where Rawls is in the gay bar, the Comstat meeting comes after that.
Oh, yeah.
And Rawls calls Bunny a cocksucker. So, so I think that it's, and I was saying to Ellie ahead of time before we started recording that I wish I had been keeping track of all of the innuendos that Rawls had. And so like
the things he has said about his penis or his balls.
Right.
Up to this point are numerous.
Yes, exactly.
Numerous.
And so, I mean, obviously I want 3 more inches of meat or whatever.
Yes.
So, But I mean, there were so many that he said over time that you have to wonder if it actually, like, how you have to kind of play them all back. So I will go back and compile all of them. Please do. But it is funny. And now you have this new context for him.
Yes.
Now, here's the interesting thing. And so this isn't a spoiler in the sense that, I guess it is in the sense that I will tell you that they do not ever touch on this again. Okay. This is the only time.
This could be Rawls is actually gay or Rawls is there for some other reason. There's theories, I'm sure.
He mentions, I think, a son at one point, so he could be either closeted or he could be bisexual, whatever.
Okay.
So, this is one of the fascinating components, and the way that the fact that they don't deliver it. I'll start at the beginning. So it's really one of these things that gets talked about. Someone watches that and they post to the subreddit like, wait, what is Rawls is gay? What's happening here? Was there
supposed to be a storyline behind that and it didn't make the cutting room floor?
Well, here's the thing. So I will explain. Okay. It's an excellent question.
Sorry, I will stop stepping in there.
So John Doman, who plays Rawls, reads the script. And all right, so before he's read the script, Ed Burns, who wrote the script, came to him and said, we have to talk. And he explains to him that this is going to be part of the character. And he says, are you comfortable with this? John Doman says, I thought to myself that it's not going to make a damn bit of difference what I say here. If they want to use it, they're going to use it. So I said, oh, I love it. Let's do it. Why not? Then after we did it, I was thinking, boy, this could go in some very strange directions. What am I going to be required to do with this? Then the next script came and there was nothing. And then the next script came and there was nothing. Finally, a third script came and there was nothing. But I had to go through in my mind all of the possible scenarios. Now it was like, well, why aren't we doing something with this? I went to David and I said, David, this whole gay thing. I'm up for anything, whatever you want to do. He just kind of looked at me with this faraway look and walked away. Of course, in his brilliance, he never touched it again. It was perfect. What he did, he just dropped that little seed in there and never touched it again, but it planted the seed in the audience's mind. So and then David Simon says, we discussed it. First of all, we said, okay, we're going to a gay bar. Who should be in there? Who would be possible? So we actually had the discussion. We went through the entire cast. When we thought Rawls, we said, man, that's perfect. And then so we went back through the moments with all of his sexual metaphors of him berating guys, and we would read them.
Aggro male.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gross what he is.
Yep.
And but so maybe he's overcompensating.
And then,
the idea.
Yeah, exactly. And so then we have to go through with this new sense. And the more we got into it, the more we were like, that's it. That's the opportunity.
Interesting.
And there you go. And so let's see. Ed Burns had something to do. Yeah. Ed Burns was like, we like the idea of it just panning across. You didn't know exactly what you just saw, and you hit rewind. Let's see. And so I guess they did have some thought that maybe it would be, they could dig it up a little bit more and expose it a little bit more, but he just didn't have the seasons for it. So, but anyway, John Doman finally concludes and says, I don't know what his reasoning was, but it showed another whole dimension to the Rawls character. Maybe it explained a lot about why he was like he was. So It's just fascinating to me that there's quite a lot of context for literally like a half a second of the show. So, it's pretty fascinating. So anyway, there's that. And then, I think the only other thing that I wanted to mention was, My read on it is that the bartender at the gay bar told Dante after the first interaction, or first or second, and then, or he's like, probably after when he says, I'll be back tomorrow.
Okay.
And then he tells Dante, and then when Lamar comes in the last time, the bartender kind of rubs his face. And that's the signal to Dante that that's the guy that has been asking about Omar, and that's why Dante follows him out of the bar.
Okay.
So that's my. So it was kind of a bit of a setup from the bartender to Dante, and then So then obviously Dante doesn't have the patience that Omar does. So
Okay.
So, and I think, and that's it. So that gets to the end.
Okay.
Is that right, or anything?
No, I got to talk about Cuddy. I mean Dennis.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. God.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Dennis.
My God.
Dennis.
Of course.
All right.
So
the
good.
deacon. Okay. Yes, I wanted to end on this because I loved.
Of course.
I love this so much.
What do you want to just talk about him in a tank top?
I just want to talk about him all day long.
In a tank top?
Yeah.
Okay.
In his tank top. His beautiful tank top. All right. Okay. The deacon visits Dennis in his gym. Dennis is taping a bag up with some duct tape. The deacon says, all you need to do is get some kids here now. And Dennis says, I don't know how to do that. Deacon says, no one does.
Mm-hmm.
Truth. Dennis visits Amsterdam, and we see Carver trying to organize a basketball game. Dennis approaches him and points out the boys are unschooled.
Yep.
Carver basically says, are you here to criticize me or are you going to help? And Dennis tells him about his boxing gym. Carver refers Dennis to the timeout corner filled with children who can't play without fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the boys get into it again. One is Justin, and I guess the other one is Spider.
Yep.
And, if you don't remember, Justin's the one that tried to sell drugs to Colvin.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that Herc teased about the sideways hat without him knowing he was being teased. Anyways, an officer is about to get involved, but Carver gestures for him not to. Dennis breaks up the fight instead and begins to critique their fighting, teach them some moves, and then he tells them where the gym is located.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin and his friends visit the gym. They instantly make jokes about how run down it looks, and they grab helmets and they just start tossing them like footballs. Dennis looks instantly overwhelmed. It's like my first day of teaching. Later, we see him trying to adjust their stance, and then Justin basically calls Dennis a pedo,
Yep.
which sets off his temper. And Justin says, oh yeah, just try hitting a juvenile, and then leaves the gym. Yep, it's already enough to just raise your hackles as an adult.
Yep.
All right, look, man. I'll tell you, put your left foot out, boy. All right?
Hey, I'm playing with my man's feet.
Yeah, you smelling up my ass, too.
I'm climbing, man. Fuck, you gonna learn something acting like a damn fool. Yeah. Ain't no big mystery why your face got tattooed.
Shit, that man can't talk to you like that. I seen his ragged ass up the spot cotton vial.
Yeah, probably pimps his ass, too.
Listen, motherfucker.
Yeah, bitch. Touch me. Touch a juvenile. See what happens. Let's bounce. Bitch ass. Baggy.
Chop ass.
So Dennis goes and talks to the trainer at the nicer boxing gym that they toured before.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells him about what he's dealing with. And the trainer says, you know, hey, even this kid I'm working with now was like that and can still be like that. And the trainer encourages Dennis to stick with it and show the kids that he believes in them and that he'll be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the trainer tells him to look at this new kid who's just starting and ask him what he thinks. And Dennis says, looks pretty weak.
Mm-hmm.
And the trainer says, no, that's a starting point.
Yep.
And they did you with the bum rush. That's what they do. They past experts, plucking nerves. You just gotta remember they barely housebroke.
I'm telling you, man, you wouldn't believe it. They was all wild and shit, wouldn't listen.
Andre, I want you to crowd him.
Yes, sir, I'll crowd him.
All right.
Time!
You just gotta set your mind to stick with it. When those two stumbled in here, they was wild as wild. Now they come in every day. Yes, sir, no, sir. Still pretty rough, but you know, with the right brakes, they gonna make it.
How?
Try as they might, I won't let them fail. When you do that, it messes with their mind. Pretty soon they run out of their little bag of tricks. What do you think of that?
Pretty weak.
It ain't weak. That's the starting point.
Dennis returns to Amsterdam, talks to Carver. Carver asks, you know, did they come? And he tells them they did, but they left. He tracks down Justin, and there's a couple others there too. And he apologizes for being angry. He says, you know, I'm new at this coaching thing. And he didn't want them to think that he gave up on them. And they kind of do some self-protective things like, oh, he doesn't realize we're the ones that left. But this line just gave me chills and made my eyes tear up. You know, he says, I'm here now.
Yep.
And it just hangs there, and it's so beautiful. Chris, I just loved that so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here now.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, so good.
Looking for a discount, old man?
Nah, bro, I'm looking for you.
Why, something come up missing?
Came past to apologize. I'm new at this coaching thing and got us off on the wrong foot. I ain't want to leave it between us with you thinking I gave up on y'all.
Motherfucker's memory weak as shit. We the one bailed out on him.
Anyway, I'm here now.
So good. That's what like every kid needs to hear, you
Yep.
know? And you know that it like sticks with him because later Justin returns to the gym. Sorry, my eyes are getting weird. Okay. Calm down, Ellie. All right. Justin returns to the gym and finds Dennis training a young boxer there. I'm not sure where that kid came from, but there he is. Justin's come back.
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah.
Just gonna learn box. And he's finding a strong male role model.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Oh, made me happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so,
Good stuff.
yeah, I mean, and Dennis's journey is I mean, it's just so fascinating because, of course, it's tricky because he only knows kind of what he knows. And even in spite of the fact of his age and stuff, like, he kind of responds in a way that he's always been sort of trained to respond, right? If someone's like, giving you a hard time, you just get up in their face, and he's got a ton of experience about that. And even though they're kids, like he doesn't distinguish.
Right.
So, but then of course he's got enough humility to go and ask for help and talk to these guys and listen and learn.
Yes.
So of course that's great too.
Ugh,
and then the end when he said, it's again like they're trying to push him away. Oh, by the way, sorry, the kid in the boxer that goes into the gym, he's like, I want you to crowd him, the coach says, and he says, yes sir, I'll crowd him. And it's like that, I don't know why, but that is something where I love that because it's like,
yes sir,
it's not, what's the word, it's not like a sycophantish, it's just like he's kind of very matter of fact about like, this is, I'm responding in an affirmative way, but I'm doing it with this extra level of respect that I mean doesn't really exist these days anymore. So which I just really, that to me, like that shows a real connection between the two characters.
Yes.
So, in any case, I'm sorry, before I forget, Spider was in the last episode as he was one of the kids doing the make a face. And so that's where you see Spider before. He's been in a few episodes before, but just straight over from last one.
Yes.
And then as you said, so I'm here now. Like, I mean,
so brilliant.
I mean, if you're like, I'm 49 years old. I've said this, a million times, but like if my boss said like, hey man, I'm here now. I'm like, okay, I need a minute. And I have a great dad. I have great parents, but like just knowing that, if you're in a tough spot, if you're anxious and someone's here, like I'm here for you. Whoa.
Yes.
So
it's so true.
I totally hear you. Like that's the reaction.
It just gave me the chills. I loved it so much. Just like as somebody who's been an educator for young people for a long time. Like, it's just so important for kids to hear that.
Yep.
All kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that is it, sir.
Okay, well,
That's
you know
the
what?
end.
I'm not going to let you get away with like you don't have any Mr. Nuggets life lessons. So just be thinking about that.
I do.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So before we move on to some of our categories, I had a couple things I wanted to mention that I didn't want to interrupt you. Which is number one, just go back and watch that scene with Stringer, Rick, Philboy, and Joe, and watch Rick's French exhale. You know what that is?
No.
It's where you let the smoke out of your mouth. Kimmy did this too, and it just kind of like drifts out, but then you breathe in through your nose. So you take an inhale, and then anyway,
You're inhaling your own exhale.
It's just yeah, exactly. It's just a little bit of a pro move where you want to get a little extra of the nicotine that might have missed you the first time.
Good to know.
Anyway, I don't know. It's just a nice touch. But then the bigger thing, and Ellie, I thought you would appreciate this. So in the scene with Perlman and Daniels and McNulty, when Daniel says we're all pieces of shit when we're in your way, Daniels takes a drink from his mug.
Yes, and it says something about teach on it.
Yes, okay.
Yeah,
I was wondering
if you can teach. I couldn't read the rest of it.
Okay, so have you heard the phrase?
Those who can't teach. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So those who can do, those who can't teach. And of course, and so what this says, and again, Ed Burns was a teacher. Says those who can, teach. Those who can't go into some less significant line of work. So I thought you would appreciate it.
Love it. Love it.
And of course, Daniels himself is a good teacher.
Yes. Yes, for sure he is.
Anyway, okay. So that was the things I forgot. Okay, so let's get into some of our categories. So not a ton of like subtlety here, but Bubbles when he interacts with Squeak, the song playing is "Hush" by LL Cool J, which I did not know. So I don't know. Selling the phones. I don't know. Maybe that's the message or whatever. Who's Sorry Now is Carcetti and D'Agostino are when they're having their campaign strategy. So is Carcetti going to be sorry about his choices? Is kind of the metaphor there, I assume. Okay. And then Causing Trouble is when Lamar is first in the gay bar. And then Ultra Proteus, which I don't know what that means. Oh, sorry. I forgot that. So LL Cool J. Connie Francis was Who's Sorry Now. Phase Bass was Causing Trouble. And then Ultra Proteus by Approach. is in the second gay bar. So I assume that kind of meant like that's the last one. So.
Okay.
Anyway, Proteus. I don't know what Proteus means in Latin, but anyway. Okay, so there you go. So that's the music. And then so the killer cameos. There were a lot of first timers, but there was the only one that really stood out to me was the bartender.
I was going to say
that.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'm sorry, I should have asked.
Bartender.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, then I like when we agree that way. I don't feel bad about that. Okay. And although, of course, Bodhi's Mima.
Oh, I mean, just her voice. Yes. I know you love the Mima, Chris. But yeah, this one, she definitely was
but,
quite good for that little bit.
But anyway, yeah. So, but no, I don't know. You know what? So
we have met Bodhi's Mima.
Right. Exactly. Though, so, but that doesn't disqualify her. I don't care. All rules, no rules apply in that situation.
No rules for Mimas.
So the other thing I forgot to mention this while you were reading this. So they show a TV screen in one of the gay bars of gay porn.
They do.
And so when I was like 22, 23, a married friend of mine, married to a woman, invited me to play on his volleyball team, which was it was essentially LBGT, or it was a gay, because it was all men.
Gay league.
Gay league. So, the majority of the players were gay. I would think it was just he and I that were the only straight players on the team.
Yeah.
But we went to a tournament once, and we went to a gay club, and there is
gay porn on this.
It wasn't gay porn in the sense that it wasn't like explicit sex or even softcore. It was like, but naked men doing like, like exercise. It was very, it's just funny because I remember I was like, and I was talking to a buddy, I was like, is this, whatever? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess if they showed women in bikinis or something, I'd be like, yeah, cool. That's fine.
I mean, in my experience, men, whether they are straight or gay, are very visual.
True. Yeah. I just thought it was strange that they just went, to basically, not X-rated, I guess, or but it's still like, there was no subtlety to it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that part
there
was like,
is.
okay, yeah,
Hello.
I mean, that felt real. So
genuine.
Yeah, anyways, that's all said. But I guess like, meanwhile, like, hey, if football's on TV, I'm watching it. So
right.
It's just whatever floats your boat
exactly.
is fine. So anyways, so we got the killer cameo and we did the music. So here we go with the life lesson. So I'm going to go first because I want you to close with what yours is going to be.
Okay.
So I will just start with a couple of small ones. Then because I worry we haven't talked about these beforehand, so I don't want to step on your toes. So I will say, number one, when Bubs talks to Squeak, he is like he breaks the conversation, which I think takes a lot of discipline, knowing that he has this objective of trying to get her to get something.
Yeah.
But he picks up on the conversation that is kind of dwindling and she needs to get going, and he like just bounces immediately. I feel like that's a really good skill to have.
It is.
Know when a conversation, like when your interaction with somebody is kind of like losing energy, and
move
bust out.
Yep.
No matter what you want to get out of the conversation, just move on to the next one. Try to get next time if you've got some objective. The second one is the shit sandwich. If you have criticism to give to somebody, it's always a good idea to start with something first. Hey, I like how you did this. Let me tell you what I would do differently. But overall, I enjoyed that. You don't have to say it's like, great, but you don't have to give them like an opinion that's not actually true, but it is, find the good too before you deliver the bad news.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite side, when someone gives you a shit sandwich, keep your mind open to it.
Yeah.
Like, don't just reject it. So that's as Carver did. Like,
yes.
He was like, "You ain't shit when it comes to policing," and then he explains, and like Carver's like, "Oh yeah, okay. Let me see what I can do."
You're right.
And then the last one is have people looking out for you.
Yeah.
So just a note, like whether it's at work, whatever, or actually especially at work. I learned this too late, but having allies in the office is really valuable. Just be like, hey, I'm trying this out, whatever. Just keep your networks of people healthy.
Yes.
And so take a few minutes just to connect with people.
Yep.
And that way, if something's happening, you need some advice, whatever, then they'll be there for you more often than not.
For sure.
Anyway.
For sure.
Okay. So I have a last one, but I want to make sure you go. I don't want to step on your toes.
Okay. Well, mine is that the most valuable thing you can give people is your time, right? So when Dennis says, "I'm here now," he's telling them, like, I don't see you as a waste of my time. I want to be here for you. I'm going to spend time with you. And just, you know, that's really meaningful.
Yep.
So if anything else that you can give, like your time is probably the most important thing that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect.
There you go.
All right. Good. Well, that's as good a one to end on as any. So
Okay. All right. Unless if you wanted to, add one more.
Do you? What? Don't hold
You
back.
can.
Don't hold back.
No, I'm saying you.
Me?
Yeah. You have anything else?
Well, do you have another one?
No, not really.
Not really?
I mean,
Okay.
I would just say, like, you know, with the holding up the lie, like Colvin holding up the lie, Carver trying to hold up the lie, moving the body, like, sometimes you just gotta come clean, because otherwise it's gonna eat you from the inside out. It's not good.
Conscience do cost.
Yeah, conscience do cost.
No,
Yes.
Well, you know, but I loved yours though. You know, but I will just I will ask or add. But I think this connects to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Don't let them fail.
Yeah.
Right. Like don't
Yeah.
let if you are invested in somebody's outcome, don't
Right.
let them fail.
Right.
Like and you know and so be there with your time like
Yes.
that to me. Feels.
Yes.
And then this is a minor one comparatively, but you know everyone has a different starting point.
Mhm.
So. You know, acknowledge, and that's something that you yourself, like that we ourselves need to tell ourselves, because you're looking at somebody like, how the hell are they so good at their? They started. Who knows where they started?
Exactly.
You know.
Yep.
And you'll never know. Anyway,
Right.
And so, but I like, but yours like time being the most valuable thing.
It's pretty.
And if you treat it that way too, then you know you will, you know, then it's important for you to recognize your time is also valuable. So
Right.
how someone treats your time is important. It's just as important as you giving it to other people.
Certainly.
So, yeah.
Certainly.
Well, there you go. Ellie's life lesson once again.
There you go, folks.
So, okay. All right. Well, now we get into the most important part, which is now you said Royce will embrace Amsterdam.
Yeah, I
which
think
is,
Royce is going to change his mind, and he's going to come back to Burrell. So I'm like, okay, tell me more about this. End up
Okay.
talking to Colvin.
Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen with that.
Okay.
Okay, I think Carcetti is going to declare his candidacy for mayor.
Okay.
I think Marla's going to visit the gym and see what's going on.
Okay.
I don't know. I just feel like he needs some better gear, and hoping Marla sees it and helps. Like, I want somebody to come in there and help improve it.
Okay.
So I'm thinking Marla is the one that comes in. Is like, you're doing a great thing here, and then helps and makes that part of her campaign or platform. It's like a little plus for her.
Okay.
Little feather in her cap by helping this out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the thing, Chris. I try really hard not to find out any information in advance. I really
no.
do. But I can see on the next episode, there's a picture of Avon being arrested by McNulty. So I know Avon's getting arrested. What I don't know is if it is because of the phone tap or because of something Stringer did. So that's the only thing I know. So here's what I think is I think that they get the pre-tap, the information from the pre-tap phones.
Mm-hmm.
And we're down to 2 episodes. I think they get the information for the pre-tap phones. But I think, okay, all along in my mind, I keep on thinking Stringer's going to just up and leave town.
Mm-hmm.
I think Stringer's going to leave town.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be this next episode or the last episode, but I think he's going to pack up and get the hell out.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Oh, and then of course I was going to find Omar.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I hope it doesn't involve doing some kind of torture to Dante or anything like that. I don't think he would. He doesn't seem like the type to do that. Okay. But he does threaten Dante to get Omar to come out and meet with him.
Okay. Okay. Are you looking at HBO?
Yeah. I usually watch it on my phone and I can't see forward on my phone. It will just go to the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was watching it on the big TV because, as you know, my husband was out of town the last few days.
Mm-hmm.
So I had access to the big TV.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I saw the picture. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
So here's, okay. Well, you know what? Am I breaking the rules? I guess I am. So what you saw was not.
That's not an arrest?
That's not episode 11. That is episode 12. And
I saw. Okay.
And
But, okay, I just saw that and I was oh shit, it's happening.
Well, but I mean,
okay. So it's happening.
So that's, but on the other hand, episode 11 shows Brother and Omar next to each other.
That's true. I mean, I knew that was going to, we all knew that was going to happen eventually, though. That one is the obvious one. The one where Avon is getting arrested was not obvious to me.
Yeah, okay.
So
okay. Well, anyway, so you didn't get but you did lead that into your prediction for Stringer. So, okay, fair enough. And I guess, we'll leave that there. Okay, so. I gotta be. You know what? I'm just gonna end. Okay. So well, we'll leave it there.
Let's leave it there. I'll try not to look at the pictures, you guys. I promise.
I mean, at this point,
I really promise. I try not to scroll. I'll put my hand at the bottom of the phone so I don't see. I just go to next episode each time, but I wanted to watch it on a big TV.
No, it's a good point, though. I mean. Is that? I guess it is a little bit of a spoiler, isn't it? So
some of them, yeah. So clearly, some of them are. Yeah. So they shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
that's
they definitely
rude.
shouldn't. Yeah.
They should not do that. Like if you're not going to put a spoiler in the descriptor for the episode, don't put it in the picture.
Right. No, I agree.
That's
we
dumb.
should. I'm going to write in to HBO.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Jesus.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, we will leave it there.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Ellie, as always, thank you so much for this was such a fun episode.
This was a good episode.
And man, things are cooking now.
Oh,
but
I cannot wait to watch the next one.
Just the amazing thing is that 6 storylines.
Yeah.
With 2 episodes to go.
Holy crap. And that I could have teased apart Mouzone and Omar, and I could have teased apart Barksdale and Stanfield, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Right? It could have been more.
Yep. One little thing for you. Episode 11 of season 3 is one of 2. One of the only 2 that were nominated for an Emmy for writing. So just keep that in mind as you watch, just to appreciate the writing.
Okay.
So because I would love your opinion on that specifically.
Oh, I'm excited.
And then just a reminder that we will come back to the Sun reporter Colvin interaction at a later date.
Yes.
So,
okay.
All right. Well, in any case, we'll leave it there. Thank you, Ellie, as always, for such a great episode.
Thank you, Chris.
And we will be back next week to cover season 3, episode 11, Middle Ground.
Woohoo! All right. Bye.
All right. The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time.
And I'm back tomorrow.